Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sly, and today we are going to play Demonologist. Not exactly play, but today I'm going to do a pretty special video. I'm actually going to do a ghost guide. I have other guides as well. Money XP guide. That one is actually pretty simple. I've got a beginner's guide as well for each of the different maps. If you are still very new to the game, leave me a like if you like what I'm doing. Go ahead and subscribe because I'll be definitely posting more contents in the future. Without further ado, I'm actually going to start talking about some of the ghost behaviors that I've noticed so far. Obviously, we still have some ghosts that do not have any data, no strengths and weaknesses. Even some like the Oni has strengths but no weaknesses. Is this supposed to be the case? I'm not sure. Maybe they'll add out something new in the newer updates. This is just going to be an explanation of what I've observed so far in all the games that I played. In case you kind of think that I'm not playing enough, this is my level 56. It's not that high, but I've definitely been playing enough. I got a lot of money. I don't know where to spend those money because I am just earning them pretty quickly. The very first ghost is Iblis, like a Diogen in Phasmophobia. If it decides to hunt, it may be impossible to escape as it knows your location. I don't think it may be impossible, it's probably impossible. From what we know, based on the text itself, right, it doesn't seem to be a fast ghost. Alright, a Diogen in Phasmophobia will pick up speed if it is further away from you, and then it will move slowly, like very, very slowly, I think up to like 0.3 meters per second, kind of slow if it's close to you. For the Iblis, I actually haven't seen it in game before. I've never been hunted by one. It's gonna be like running at a normal speed, and then once it's close to you, it's just gonna be slow. Kind of forces you to run, forces you out of your hiding spot. Basically, there is no hiding spot in this game. It's more of like you pray that the ghost doesn't really come close to you to detect you, and somehow it just finds you in your room. Let's take for example like Cyclone Street. It went up to the second floor blade room. The ghost kind of spawns in the basement, and I still died from there even though I muted my microphone. It wasn't an Iblis, but it kind of seems like other ghosts can exhibit their behavior as well. So as of this point, I don't really know what causes the ghost to be able to detect you. There could be like certain cases where, if you remember some of my other videos, I did mention that the EMF or the ghost events could actually happen in between levels. So if you're playing in hospital, if the ghost is like maybe on the second floor, you could actually get some activities on the ground level, which is one level below. Sometimes even in the basement as well, sometimes you might hear a bit of noise. Or if you're playing a Cyclone Street, then it could be like the second floor bedroom, and then the events are happening on the first on the living room. Obviously, at this point, hiding spots are not reliable. The best thing you could do is just to try and run and loop the ghost. One thing that I know for sure is that you must break line of sight with the ghost. I do have some experiences with ghosts like this. When I died, then after that I was like just walking around and there's a ghost. I did notice that if the ghost have no idea where you are, you would just kind of like be stagnant at a single spot. Sometimes it just does very weird shit on the same spot as well. It is kind of weird because the ghost has no idea where you are. It seems that the I wouldn't say is exactly very polished. If you break a line of sight with the ghost, it doesn't always have to be like, the ghost in Phasmophobia. It will go to your last known location. Sometimes if you are far away enough, if you break a line of sight, you just cross over the wall around the corner and then you just make a break for it. There is a good chance that the ghost will actually just make a U-turn and just go somewhere else if there's no one nearby left to hunt. I have noticed this so far, but do not quote me on this. It happened to me quite a few times, but I think this is a very lucky situation. So let me know what you guys think if you guys have experienced something like that before. Iblis is not exactly very dangerous. I don't think it's a problem at all. Some of my other videos, I also share with you that I have this running technique, which is like 3 quick steps and then 2 like slow steps. Once again, I do not know if this is actually a lot more better than just sprinting and then just waiting until your stamina recharges fully. It could be like a placebo, something like that, because I do not hear myself panting. I do not feel like I'm being delayed longer than I should be when I'm trying to run away from the ghost. It kind of helps me to get the ghost when I'm trying to loop the ghost as well. Obviously, it will not work if it's a faster ghost. Oh yes, one thing to add as well is I think the difficulty actually affects the ghost speed in some sense. Most of the time in hard mode, even though it's the same goals which I'm dealing with, if I'm playing in easy mode, sometimes I do notice that they are a lot faster. It could be an Oni, for example. When I'm playing in medium, the ghost is running as fast as I am when I'm kind of like sprinting. That is his normal speed. When I run out of sprints, that's where it usually catches up. Then that's how I usually die. You have less room for error if you're trying to loop the ghost. If you kind of like, you know, screw up your sprinting, you bump into a wall or something on the ground and you kind of get held back. In easy mode, the ghost seems to be so much slower, and I think that the ghost will actually be a little bit slower if it's coming close to you. I don't think medium applies as well. Something to be tested again. Just something for you guys to take note. The next ghost, of course, is Deogen. They have no interest in anything except for the target. So if you know for sure that you are dealing with a Deogen, the ghost can potentially be quite fast. I did see certain times where the Deogen is actually moving a lot faster towards his target only, and it kind of like ignores the rest of the other players if you're playing in multiplayer. Next ghost is A-Gesh. A-Gesh is like a Hantu in Phasmophobia. It moves a lot faster in cold environments and then it slows down in a warmer environment. So the only cold environment, of course, is the ghost room itself. In the freezing temperature room, it's going to move a lot faster. It is actually quite fast. So if you know for sure that you are dealing with an A-Gesh, whichever map that you are playing at, try to keep a distance if you are going to do an exorcism. If not, just carry across with you. You might get caught off guard if you are inside the room itself. You may not be able to escape. When I was playing in the hospital, the ghost was in the basement. I knew for sure that I was dealing with an A-Gesh. I needed to exorcise the ghost. I cannot be carrying my gun just like that, because in hard mode there is very minimal grace period before the ghost actually starts hunting. So you know for sure the ghost is hunting when you hear the growl, like the lion's growl. Then after that your vision starts to have all these blur effects or some grainy effect. I forgot what is it called. And then the last thing that you will hear is the doom. That just means that the ghost is in very close proximity with you. It may not necessarily mean that you are being chased. Usually just hear the sound if it's like very close to you. One additional fun fact to add in is if let's say you're being hunted by a ghost, right? So you do notice that the ghost kind of like shows up for like a second or two, then after it disappears for another 2 seconds or 3. I think it's very important for me to let you know that the ghost can still kill you while it is not being seen. I have tested it before. I thought the ghost is not able to interact with you if it kind of disappears and it only kills you once it shows up. Nope, that is not the case. It still kills you even though you cannot see it. As of this point, I'm definitely still trying to test if you're trying to loop the ghost within a very close distance, whether you are able to screw up its AI parting. That will come into a future video, maybe in some of my gameplays or something like that. I will let you guys know. I still have to test that out. I did notice that the ghost AI parting can be screwed up if you kind of like do things that is a little bit unpredictable. If you're running towards the ghost, obviously the ghost is still going to run towards you, but after that, if you like try to ankle break the ghost, you just like whoop. Then after that goes like, then like something happened. Like, whoa, what the hell, man? I don't know, man. I'm just spotting bullshit at this point. But yeah, A-Gesh try to lure the ghost out into the open, because that's when the ghost is a lot slower. You can actually loop the ghost without any issues. Shit, this to some extent is pretty true. They are a lot more aggressive in the dark. For what I understand so far, most of the time shades will still be aggressive if there are multiple people in the room. Obviously, if you are alone, then that's the best. Once again, do not quote me on this. This is just based on what I've observed so far. They have a higher chance to actually break the lights, so that they will never ever be in the brightly lit environment. So they are just like trying to bring it to their own advantage. A candle probably wouldn't make any difference for this. The candle will kind of affect the myling more than this. Candles don't really bring a lot of light. Even if you bring a lot of candles into the ghost room, hopefully they might change this. Give a little bit more purpose to the candles. Right now the candle does jack shit, to be honest. Alright, on-rails are known as jealous ghosts. They will fall in love with the chosen one and only attack the rest. They will not harm the person they fall in love with. I never actually tried having 3 people die and then the chosen one not being hunted at all. It's hard to tell. I'm not exactly focused on the ability of this ghost. If you know that you are dealing with an on-rail, it is still quite a dangerous ghost, because number one, even if you know who's the chosen one, you have to avoid going into the ghost room or the house with the chosen one. So the next one is the Oni. It can quickly play with your sanity and decide to kill you. So the strength is known to be very fast. I do not think that it is very fast. I just think that it's quite fast. I've never seen it like zooming around the map before. When it comes to sanity, I think it has only a slightly stronger effect as compared to the usual sanity drain is a little bit hard to tell. But then again, if I know it's an Oni, I will try not to spend too much time in the ghost room or in the house. I'll just try to get the exorcism done as quickly as possible. The Oni can start hunting pretty quickly because it is able to drain your sanity from there. And of course, when it comes to sanity, if you're playing at a higher level, your sanity drains faster. You can go ahead and watch my challenge videos when I play hospital in hard mode. The sanity can drop 10, 20 or even 30% in as little as like 5 to 10 minutes, which is why I usually do not focus on that. I still have to say that getting the evidence is still more reliable than guessing the ghost abilities or the ghost behaviors. So the Thaye is a very, very interesting ghost. By far, so far I have dealt with the Thaye a couple of times. The Thaye is unmistakably fast. I am confident enough to say that Thays are the fastest ghosts in the game. You can watch some of my other clips and you can see that the Thaye is like zooming very quickly. You can be like sprinting backwards and the ghost is still like running 3 times faster than you. That kind of speed, it's insane. You will never be able to escape the hunt if you have been targeted. There is no way. You just have to hope that you are holding your crucifix. If it's burned, the hunt ends. You better get out of there quickly. Go and pop some sanity pills. Carry another crucifix with you. This ghost is insane. There was a particular time where one of my teammates died, and less than 10 seconds later, I saw the ghost coming out again. So the ghost hunted, it killed someone, the hunt ended. 10 seconds later, it started hunting again. So it's insane. It's like crazy. My sanity is not that low. It's an early hunting ghost, just like how the Ghoul could be early hunting, just like how the Demon could be early hunting. These are very special ghosts that could be hunting at any sanity. The Thaye is the most dangerous of all because it could hunt at any sanity and it can be very, very quick, more aggressive and fast when they are young, so it is very, very, very prone to hunting. The weakness is that the Thaye will move slower and be less aggressive if it is older. Sorry, I've never been able to play up to a point where the Thaye will be moving slower or be less aggressive. You have to be in the game for like a long period of time, or you have to be hunted multiple times and still survive in order for the Thaye to be like a lot slower from there. Is the weakness good? Yes, it is good. Is it reliable? No, because I've never ever had this happen in any of my matches before. I've never seen the Thaye slow down. It is still insanely quick even after 2 to 3 hunts. You see the ghost coming at you super quick, just put in Thaye, don't bother about the exorcism, just go. Leave the place. It's not worth it. Alright, so the next ghost is a Raiju. Raiju is the opposite of Yurei. It is a ghost that targets solo players. If you are like, looking for the ghost room alone, you are more likely to be hunted. And the weakness is obviously if you are going into a group, the Raiju will be more passive. The Yurei is on the complete opposite end. You will be hunted if you are traveling in groups, then if you are alone, it will weaken itself. Is it something that you should focus on in terms of the abilities? No. But it will be good if you identify the ghost and you have to go ahead with the exorcism. You know exactly what you are dealing with. Let's say if you are dealing with a Raiju, if you are going to do the exorcism, it's good to go in pairs. If not, you all go together as a team. And if you are dealing with a Yurei, obviously go alone, right? So it's not exactly very dangerous in my opinion. This is like on the lower tiers of ghosts that you should really be taking note of. Alright, so the next ghost is a mare. The mare is the complete opposite of a Jin. A mare is a very, very passive ghost. It is so quiet, so shy. The only times I saw a mare hunt is when they use the curse item. So it could be breaking a Ouija board or using a, what do you call it, the tarot card, or even the poke doll, what do you call it? A voodoo doll, sorry. They are so passive, I've never really seen them hunt before, like so quiet. But when it comes to dealing with a mare, I think it is a lot easier to identify based on the abilities rather than the evidence itself. Of course, once again, the evidence is still the number one thing you should focus on. I just use the abilities or the behaviors as a secondary consideration. Let's say I'm playing on easy mode, so freezing temperatures are generally very easy to come by. If you're playing in hard mode, it could take a minimum of 5 minutes, sometimes up to 10 minutes in some of my games before the freezing temperatures actually show itself. Easel canvas drawing is something that is hard to get. EMF 5 is also something that's hard to get, especially for a mare, because of the lack of activity that is coming from this ghost. I will just keep testing. I will just keep trying to agitate the ghost, make it aggressive a little bit more. If it's not, which is really not doing anything much, maybe just 1 or 2 activities in a few minutes, you know for sure that it's a mare because it is way too quiet. If you have the same problem as me, if the ghost is not able to hear you, other players can hear me, but for some reason the game is not able to hear me. That could be a reason why the ghost is not being aggressive as well, because it's not able to hear you curse at him.
Follow the sound of my voice, and I shall lead you straight to death.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. Because hunting, like I said, lead you straight to death. Whereas the Jinn, it is a complete opposite. It is very easy to tell where the Jinn is. I won't say it is very aggressive. I would just say it's very active, but with the amount of activity going on, it could link to the aggression as well, because you are in the room. You know, if you start to say some stupid shit or you just try to get the ghost to do something, that's where it can start to, you know, increase its aggression, and then from there hunt. You might be mistaken that it could be an early hunting ghost. It's just that because of all the activities that is being thrown at you, your sanity drops very quickly, it's low enough, and then the Jinn will begin to hunt. You can kind of know where the ghost room is by, you know, just hearing the things that is being thrown or like something happening in the ghost room, something like that. The next one is a Nama. I like to call this the Ninama, which means your mother. There is no data, no weaknesses. This is also the same for some other ghosts like the Guipo. Sometimes I call Guipo. Basically, Guipo is like a ghost wife, but it can be quite scary if your wife turns into a ghost, I guess. Boogie is another ghost without any abilities. Wraith, yokai as well. So that's a total of 5 ghosts without any behaviors at all, and then Oni and Gorio have no weaknesses. I have seen Guipo run as quick as an Oni in one of the matches, which is why I say that the Oni, when it's known to be very fast, is not exactly that fast. I thought it was an Oni, but end up it was a Guipo. Maybe there's something that has to be fixed. Maybe it's a bug. I'm not so sure. Right. So the next thing is an Abaddon. Abaddon is a very unique ghost. It is a little bit hard to test. It is not a guaranteed thing. If you do not have a crucifix with you, it's just going for the easy kill. Just trying to grab the low-hanging fruits, basically. It's not a guaranteed chance. Even though you are holding a crucifix, it may not ignore you at all. It's not reliable, which is why I do not really like spend time to see if, oh, is this ghost chasing me or not. I'm not so sure. I'm holding a crucifix. Is it going away? Is it not going away? Is it trying to chase somebody else? It's really hard to spot him. All that nonsense and shit. I don't really care about that, but all I know is if I'm dealing with an Abaddon, it's not exactly very dangerous. Everyone has an equal chance to die. Right, so the next one is the Revenant. I have also rarely dealt with a Revenant. It says that it's very dangerous, unpredictable, unstable. The weakness is if they decide to stay calm, they may make it easier for you to find him. So I guess this is a ghost that is suffering from ADHD. Only one particular time where I noticed when I was not even in the room, the ghost was just doing all sorts of throwing stuff on the ground, just flinging things across the room and things like that. I wasn't there, but I heard the sound. There's a lot of it. It might sound like a Jinn in this case because the Jinn is also very active and very easy to find. But of course, then again, I'm not going to bet anything on it. I just feel that the abilities are just very hard to guess. Obviously, if it's like, making a lot of noise, I know exactly where the ghost room is. I'll just go ahead and just keep testing for the evidence. No point trying to spend too much time thinking if it's behaving like a Revenant or not, because any ghost could behave like any piece of shit at any time and you wouldn't even know. I've been juked by so many ghosts so many times before, and I completely gave up on the behaviors except for a few, which is like very obvious. Okay, so a Poltergeist is exactly the same as the Poltergeist in Phasmophobia. So for those of you who are watching, there's nothing much that I need to explain. For those of you who are not very familiar with the game, I'm just going to let you know that if they are throwing stuff and you are in the room, your sanity will be impacted by it as well. So they have the ability to throw many things at once. I haven't necessarily seen throw multiple things at the same time. It could be possible, I'm not so sure. Probably not like the explosion when you pile a shit ton of stuff in the same spot and then the Poltergeist just walks through it and boom, that kind of thing. Not like Phasmophobia. I just feel that they have a higher tendency to throw stuff at a much higher interval. So you could be throwing something for like 1 second and then the next second it will be throwing something else again. So I think that's what they're trying to say. As for the weakness, they come down when when there's nothing left to throw. I think this is complete bullshit because the items will still be in the room. You cannot pick up any items and throw it out of the room yourself. They can throw something from like one end of the room to the other, and then later on they can just go back to that side of the room and then show it again. So it is nonsense. It is quite stupid. Not reliable weakness. But the strengths, I think this is one of the more obvious points of Poltergeist. It will throw stuff a lot more frequent than as compared to other ghosts, that's for sure. Hunt 2, I haven't really dealt much with a Hunt 2 in this game as well. If it talks to you, it makes you an easier prey for it. It's very hard to tell, like really very hard to tell. And the only way for you to test is if it says something to you, all you need to do is just go back to the tent and check your sanity drain, whether it's draining at the normal speed or whether it's draining a lot quicker than it should be. And then from there, maybe you can take up the sanity pills, but I think it's not worth it. As of right now, I think this behavior is not reliable as well. If you are paying very, very close attention to all of this stuff, you can possibly notice them. I think the amount of effort for you to put in order to decide whether it's a Hantu or not is not worth it. So Myling has an ability that is like a hit or miss. So it's not that unreliable, but it's a little bit hard to test as well. The reason why I'm saying this is because of the candle. You do not need the candle to be put out. You just need to have candles around the place. I do not believe that each candle will completely affect the entire ghost room as it is. I think it has a certain radius and you will need multiple candles to put in like different parts of the room or the open area, for example, for it to kind of work more effectively. If you know for sure that you're dealing with a Myling, just throw all the candles into that ghost room. Hopefully it doesn't change the ghost room or whatever. It is like a way for you to prevent the hunt from happening while you're getting other things done. The Gorio is a very, very unique ghost. Gorio doesn't interact with ESG if someone is nearby. It is quite bullshit because the ESG doesn't work properly. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work at all. Until they fix the ESG problem, then this is something that we can look into in the future. Demons come and collected ghosts. I'm not so sure about that. I have seen cases where the demon doesn't even stop hunting at all until someone actually dies. It is crazy, like really crazy. It is pretty hard to deal with a demon if you anger it to that point, because the only thing that can stop you from dying is a crucifix. And the crucifix will probably only buy you a little bit of time before the demon will start hunting again. You will just be running for your life for as long as you can before the demon decides to call it quits. Usually it doesn't, but of course if it does for you, then you are considered very lucky. If you are potentially dealing with a demon, which is always the case for me, but I'm always getting ectoplasm stains first, I'm always getting freezing temperatures. The easel canvas is the last evidence for me to get. If I have a very good hunch that I'm dealing with a demon, then you might not want to try to anger it any further unless you are really asking to die. Yeah, basically that's how it is. The Ghoul is the last ghost that we will be discussing for today. The Ghoul is a very, very unique ghost. So the Ghoul is one of my favorite ghosts so far. This actually works. If you guys actually seen my beginner's guide, the very first one, which is the abandoned house, you know for sure that I was dealing with a Ghoul on my first game. It was very, very obvious. The more you talk, the more the Ghoul is going to get agitated. Obviously, if you swear, it's just going to increase the meter by a lot more. All I did was just constantly talk, and then I get a whole range of like activities happening throughout the entire game. Even early hunting as well. So Ghoul is also one of the early hunting ghosts. If you keep talking in the ghost room, there is a very, very high chance you will become very angry, very agitated, and you will start hunting. I have never seen a Ghoul run very quickly before, so I don't think that is a cause for concern. So that's pretty much all the ghost types. Obviously, we have to wait for newer updates. Maybe they'll change some things, add in more abilities, adding more secret abilities as well. I think at this point it might be a little bit late to say, but obviously the ghost models do not necessarily mean the ghost types. There is no relation to it. You can have even like a girl's name, for example, like Cynthia Rivers, and then the ghost can look like Shrek. Even when the ghost is talking to you, it is talking in like a feminine male voice. I think that's how it is. Hopefully they will update and add in more different voices, more behaviors, to make the game more immersive. I hope this ghost guide is useful for you. Obviously, there's nothing much to talk about at this point. It's still early access, but this is obviously what I've noticed so far, and I hope that this helps you a lot as well. So once again, drop me a like if you like what I'm doing. Subscribe to my channel so you will be updated of my latest uploads and things like that. I will be uploading more Demonologist content in the future, so if you have any feedback or anything you want to let me try, just let me know. I'm very open to suggestions. That is all for today. I wish you all the best.